Hi, I'm Barbara Milano. Today I'm going to be demonstrating a piece of architecture on a 12 by 12 linen panel. As you can see, it has been used. I like to work on old panels. I sand them down a little bit or scrape them if there's not too much texture. I like that color that comes from underneath. It's kind of fun. You don't know exactly what you're going to get. If you don't like it, you could always cover it up 100%, but I find that there's always little bits and pieces of the past, a little history underneath that I enjoy. This particular piece of architecture is in the center of Prescott. They have a really great little town center there with the courthouse being its biggest feature, surrounded by these old buildings from the mid to late 1800s. In 1864, Prescott was designated as the capital of the Arizona Territory. It was replacing the capital of Fort Whipple. Well, the territorial capital was moved to Tucson and then back to Prescott in 1877. Phoenix finally became our capital here in Arizona, 1889. So there's a rich gold history here, mining, that sort of thing. Beautiful, beautiful area. I'm going to be doing a plein air event in August here, August 27th through the 30th, 2025. And it's going to be a really fun event, I think. I've been invited to do it a number of times. I haven't done it, so this is their 6th year, going into their 6th year. And I just decided to do it this year. It's called Art in the Pines, the 6th annual Prescott Plein Air Festival. And this particular piece that I'm working on today will be donated to the university there, or college. It's hopefully going to be picked up by someone in an art auction. That would be desirable. If not, it will stay there at the Yavapai College. We'll see. I'm going to be speeding up quite a bit here because this was a 3-hour painting. I don't think you're going to want to watch this for 3 hours. I will slow down in certain places and talk a little bit about maybe what I'm doing. I am not monetizing this. I'm not getting paid to do this. I'm hoping that something I'm doing here will resonate with you, and you'll be able to walk away with something that helps you with your paintings. I am not an illustrator. I'm not an architect, but I love painting architecture. So I have some hacks that I do. I'm sorry, that would be my dog in the background, Kevin, who's dropping his bone on the floor in hopes that it will break apart and give him something really awesome to chew on. I digress. Yes, so I'm not an architect, I'm not an illustrator, but I have learned some tricks on how to paint architecture. It's something I really enjoy doing. I like the textures, the shadows, the shapes, the geometrics, and altogether, architecture really gives me something that I don't get from landscape. I love landscape, of course, but architecture is also very near and dear to my heart, and it's somewhat of a signature kind of art that I do. So I'm going to speed up here a little bit from here on out. And like I said, I will slow down in different areas. Please reach out to me. Let me know if I'm going too fast, too slow, talking too much, not enough. Whatever I can do to make these videos more useful for you. My website is barbaramolino.com. My email is art@barbaramolino.com. Sorry about the dog. Perhaps I'll get to introduce you to Kevin and Angel at some point. Yeah. Enjoy. Thank you for tuning in. Oh, by the way, this is new for me. I've not done these videos before, so they are a little rough. I apologize for that. Hopefully they'll develop as time goes by. Thank you. I'm using phthalo green plus white to make my awnings. I've also got cobalt blue, black, lamp black, cad red, phthalo red rose, which is a Grumbacher color, titanium white, and lemon yellow on my palette. Because I spent a fair amount of time doing the sketch, making sure I get that right, the painting part will go very quickly from here. Students often ask about shadows, how to incorporate shadows in their paintings, what colors to use. It's really the absence of yellows and reds, the warmer tones. Although there is often warm light in a shadow, shadow could be warm or cool. It's really just the absence of the warmer colors. So here I've used my green, my phthalo green, a little bit of blue, and the reds to get that nice lavender color and give me the shadow color I needed. Okay, so at this point in the painting, you could see I'm starting to add color. And mostly it's about getting lights and darks established. I'm going for a pattern of light and dark. I'm going for general movement in the painting. Obviously, I have a figure in the foreground here. The red is intentional. The jacket in the original painting is kind of like a maroon color. I definitely wanted to punch that up a little bit. I've also punched up my lights and darks against each other, as well as temperature. I'm trying to get warms and cools to kind of bring in a little bit of tension. And as you see the painting progress, you'll see that I'm going to get more intentional about my choices in lights and darks. This is not pure white that I'm using. It's actually lemon yellow, white, and a touch of cad red. My palette, I haven't mentioned up to this point, is phthalo green, cobalt blue, cad red light, phthalo red rose, that's a Grumbacher color, titanium white, lamp black. Trying to think if there's anything I missed. I don't think there is. And this is a really limited palette, but fairly limited. I've not brought in a lot of extra colors. Basically, I wanted to get a really good sense of temperature, light, and dark contrast, and I felt this particular palette would get me where I needed it to be. So here we are. You'll see as I go along that I change things out as I'm working. I'll see something that isn't quite feeling the way I want it to feel. I'll take it out and I'll put something else in, then I'll put what I had in before. It goes back and forth. There's a lot of that as I work. I'm always measuring one point against the other point. I'm looking at values, of course. And you'll see that I lighten some darks, I'll darken some lights. as there is a general give and take in the painting. I found the background to be a little bit of a challenge for me in this particular painting. It wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. And so I did do a lot of back and forth with that. I turned the painting on the side just for ease to get, there's a little lip on the bottom of this ledge that I'm painting on. It tends to get my way, so I turn the painting sideways. It makes it a little bit easier for me. There's a mailbox back there. You'll see I struggled a little bit with the mailbox, getting it to look like a mailbox. I think I finally won the battle in the end. There's a shadow in the foreground that I lightened up. I'm not sure whether it got in the video or not, but I did lighten that up. Looks like an L there. It was just a little too strong. I love to share when I'm struggling a little bit, and this figure was giving me some fits in the foreground. I wanted to get the sense of walking forward just right, and it was kind of a push and pull with what was going on in the background. As you can see, I'm still fighting with that background. This goes on for quite a while in the video. I'm so sorry about that, but here I am nearly the end of the painting, feeling pretty satisfied, but no, I've got to go back in and make some of those lights a little bit stronger. Get some of those details a little bit more correct. I want to point out that I didn't get too crazy on the flowers in the foreground because I didn't want it to distract from what was really important to me, and that was the awnings, the light on the awnings. If I put too much light on those flowers in the foreground, then the awning wouldn't be as strong, and I really kind of like that in this particular painting. Also notice between the lights and darks where I've neutralized the ground plane so that the building really does project. At this point in the painting, I'm really looking at details. I want to make sure that I've got my shadows in place. I've got my lights, my darks, my edges all working for the painting. And you'll see that I lighten up some places around the shrubs, maybe the jacket shadows, so that everything reads the way we would see it if we were there on location. The difference between a plein air painter and a studio painter is understanding how light hits things. And even if I'm working in the studio, as with this painting, I want it to read as though I were outdoors, that I were seeing it in person. And I asked myself these questions. did I achieve that? Does it look like I was there when I painted this? I have subdued the foreground a little bit. I want that to not be as strong as what I had in the photograph, because I really want your eye to see those awnings and maybe the jacket a little bit. I don't want the flowers in the foreground to dominate the painting, and they easily could, because I have the light of the flowers and the dark of the windows behind it. They could easily dominate the painting, and that's really not where this painting needs to be. I didn't put any detail on the sign to the left either, because I felt like that might even be a distraction, like you want to see what the words are on the sign. So I just left that blank. We're at the end. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like this. Let me know what you think.